It's a given that the LGBTQ community has been stricken with discrimination and has not been given an equal opportunity in our society. We can see this in employment, housing, and other social spheres. But this is not a new issue. Discrimination and segregation of the LGBTQ community dates back to the 1920s during the Prohibition era. After Prohibition was enacted, a powerful campaign to render gay men and lesbians invisible to exclude them from the public sphere quickly gained momentum. Early in 1931, several of the city's newspapers began a campaign against clubs featuring female impersonators. The campaign gathered momentum when gunfire broke out at the Club Abbey on January 25th. The police responded by launching a campaign of harassment against the remaining Times Square clubs featuring pansy acts. Police Commissioner Edward Mulrooney stated, "There will be a shakeup of nightclubs, especially those which feature female impersonators." Later that year, police moved to crack down on city's Harlem drag balls as well. Gays and lesbians then began being banished to certain areas of the city in efforts to make this community invisible to tourists. The media publication Variety reported, "If cops have their way, the effeminate clan will hereafter confine its activities to the village and Harlem." The police tried to eradicate pansies from the streets of the square. They launched a roundup of apparent homosexualists. The city used these roundups and campaigns against gays to demonstrate the resolve to clean up New York from moral evils like pansy clubs and burlesque acts. Although many positive changes for LGBTQ equality have been made within the last few years, such as the passing of gay marriage in many U.S. states, the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell, and legal recognition of adoption and spousal benefits in some states, there is still one particular group within the LGBT community who does not reap the benefits of these improvements.
Happily ever after, and that just is a myth.
We are saying come out and be filled with pride. It's our responsibility to make sure that continues right through their last day.
The elderly LGBTQ community received and still receives grave discrimination in employment and housing, in turn, greater rates of poverty. This epidemic rings true for the past as much as it does for the present. In a 2009 study, 30% of same-sex couples were treated differently when attempting to buy or rent a home. Another study found 33% of gay and lesbian respondents thought they would have to hide their sexual identities if they moved into a nursing home in fear of discrimination and harassment. In a national survey, 19% of transgendered respondents had been refused a home or apartment, and 11% have been evicted because of transgender-related discrimination. LGBT advocates say the discrimination is more pronounced for the elderly. In testing of elder housing in 10 states, 52% of lesbian, gay, and bisexual applicants face adverse treatment, including being shown fewer rental options and being quoted higher rents than heterosexual couples, as published by the Equal Rights Center in Washington, D.C. Homelessness and poverty plagues the elderly LGBT population. Due to many elders being fired from their long-standing jobs because they come out as gay, and no spousal benefits for same-sex domestic partnerships, these elders are bound to fall into a web of poverty. In a survey of LGBT older adults, 45% reported varying levels of difficulty paying their monthly mortgage and rent, 37% reported difficulty affording their monthly utility bills, and 41% reported difficulty affording monthly food and household expenses. So what's being done to help this growing LGBT elder community? One of the biggest and most recent efforts of activism here in Chicago is the Town Hall apartment housing development that caters to aging LGBT members. Chicago became the third city in the U.S. to open housing catering to low-income LGBT people. So far, upwards of 400 seniors have applied to the 79 apartments available. All applicants must meet an age requirement and also a low-income requirement. Not only will this new development provide much-needed housing for this community, but will also provide services and programs that cater to the aging LGBT residents. These services include computer classes, HIV testing, and classes on nutrition. This community provides a sense of belonging and acceptance to these LGBT community members in their years of aging. Belonging and acceptance they have not previously received.
For 70-year-old Jerry Zaft, this is a beautiful day in the neighborhood, or Gayborhood as it's affectionately called. His new home in Philadelphia, the John C. Anderson Apartments, is one of only 3 complexes in the U.S. for low-income lesbian, gay, bisexual, or transgender seniors. It opened this month.
I don't have to be ashamed of who I am down here.
What do you want this at?
Experts say LGBT seniors are less likely to have the financial aid and family resources to age in homes of their own. Many fear discrimination at traditional elder housing facilities. Some go back into the closet after years of being open about their sexuality. Community leaders say that's unacceptable for pioneers of the gay rights movement.
That we've said that we will not tolerate the invisibility of our seniors, that they are the people who built LGBT liberation, and that we should ensure that they get only the best services.
The number of gay seniors nationwide is expected to double to 3 million by 2030, according to the group's Services and Advocacy for GLBT Elders.
But the fight is not over yet. Chicago is only one of 3 cities in the United States that provides housing and senior care to the aging LGBT community. There's still inequality for LGBT seniors, and we still have work to do.